let's do my curly hair routine that lasts me all week long without needing to refresh, not even one time. Today I'm going to be using my Yale Organic, which is my favorite line, is the pomegranate and honey. But this time I went to HEB and I found that they made a new gel. So this is the first time I'm gonna be using this gel. It says maximum hold. So maybe this will make it last even longer. I just washed and conditioned my hair. You always want to start with soaking wet hair. And yes, spring water is definitely better than sink water, especially if you live in areas where the water is hard. You're going to want to section your hair. The smaller the sections, the more defined your hair is going to be. You always want to start with soaking wet hair. I usually do this right after the shower, or sometimes even in the shower. When choosing your curly hair supplies, think about it as a two-step process. First, you want to get something that is hydrating, that is going to give your hair what it needs as the first layer. And then you're going to want to get something that's going to hold it in place as it dries. So if your hair is dry, leave-in conditioner is a great option. The way you choose what kind of hold product you want is depending on your hair type. If your hair gets very frizzy, you might want to get something that has a stronger hold. If you have fine curls, you might want to use mousse or a lighter type cream for the hold. For me, I use a leave-in conditioner because my hair is very dry, as you can see. And I'm gonna use this new gel. It says maximum hold. I've never used it before, but I usually like a strong gel that creates a really good cast. So my hair dries and it becomes crunchy, but then I can break the cast. That way, it lasts me all week long without it getting crazy frizzy. You want to be generous with your products. So about 2 pumps for each section. I layer the leave-in conditioner first. Then I'm gonna go in with the gel. And remember, if you put too much products, you can always, at the end, take it out with a microfiber towel. I love brush styling. This gives me the best definition for the hair. You're gonna want a brush that has flexible bristles and also a hard back. That way, it smooths in your products and it gives those beautiful ringlets. My brush of choice is the Denman brush. I go in with the bristles from the bottom, then I twist it this way so my hair smooths out on the back of the brush. And just smooth it all the way in. This is called rake. So I just rake my hair and then I'm going to shake. Look at this beautiful curls. And remember, the way you part your hair while you're styling, that's how it's going to dry. So if you want a middle part, make sure that's how you're sectioning your hair. And if you want that lion look, you can always do a triangle here and then these two sections separate. This is how my hair looks like with products on, and this is how it looks like without. There's zero frizz because remember, if it looks frizzy wet, it's going to be frizzy dry. So turn this frizz into beautiful curls. Now that we turned the frizz ball into beautiful curls, we're gonna flip over, scrunch up. And I wanna hear this sound. If you hear this sound, that means you did it right. Your hair should be this saturated with water and products. And what we're doing is we're activating the curl. Products and the brush stretches them out sometimes. So all you have to do is just activate them. Now remember what I said, if you feel like you put on too much products, you get your microfiber towel and just scrunch it all out. The way you can tell that if it feels too wet, too heavy, then you can just scrunch out the excess. At this point, our hair got the amount of products that it needs. This will also accelerate the drying process. Now that we're done, you can either air dry, which is what I usually do, or for the sake of this video, so I can show you how I diffuse my curls, because also I got this amazing diffuser that literally dries my hair in 6 minutes. Because it's gonna be loud, let me explain it first. You're gonna want it on medium heat. You're gonna start with hovering over your curls until about 20% dry. And when you cup, just make sure you hold it up and not move it for 30 seconds at a time. You don't want to be moving it too much because that creates frizz. Let's get to it. hair is dry, it's time to fluff and break the cast. Although I've noticed that this styling gel creates less of a cast than the Coil Sculpting Custard, which I usually use. I love me a cast because I feel like cast will make things last much longer. Let's break this cast and fluff up the hair. Coat your fingers with oil so they're nice and slippery, because you don't want to create frizz in this process. It smells like roses. And you're just going to separate the curls. The more you separate, the bigger the hair. And I love me big hair. I want my hair to be huge. You can just scrunch out the crunch. If you like the wet look, you can definitely not break the cast. There's not much of a cast in this one. Then I'm going to go in with my pick to lift up the roots, because if you notice, my roots are kind of sitting flat and then my curls are getting big right here. I want to change that. I want it to be more voluminous up there. Get your pick, you're going to stick it down to your roots. And once you get there, you're going to flick, flick, flick to lift it. And do it all the way around. Again, the more you pick, the bigger your hair. Here we go. You see the difference? Now my roots are more round. They're not flat. Look at these amazing ringlets. The only thing that we have to do so it lasts the entire week is sleeping with a satin bonnet and a satin pillowcase. Why both of them? If the satin bonnet falls off your hair, there's backup. Sleeping without that is definitely going to frizz up your hair. You're gonna have to watch it again. Here's the results. Beautiful, bouncy curls.